Can you hear me, Clarence? Clarence,
What's going on, brother? I can't see you. Can you see
happy
me?
holidays. I can't see you. Can you I think on the left side of your computer, laptop, phone screen, it should say start video on the left side of your computer or tablet or there we go. What's good with you, brother? Happy
What's going
holidays.
on? Happy holidays, King. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Good, brother. Ready to get to work. So let's get into it. Hello, everyone. Listen to another episode. Let's talk sports with Tim McKain. And I got my brother, Clarence McClain of McKain Promotions, also the founder of No Duck Zone podcast. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, brother. How you feeling?
I'm well. I'm well. So, what led you to start No Duck Zone podcast?
I was talking to a couple of brothers that, I be in the chat with, and, we always talking about fighters that's ducking each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny how you could come up with an idea, you could run with it, and it actually turns out to be a good idea. And I kept saying, quack, quack. I said, next year is going to be a no duck zone. So every time I talk to the brothers, I go quack, quack. So I'm sitting around in the bed one day, and then it hit me. I told my wife, I said, you know what? I got an idea. Mm-hmm. I said, I'm going to come up with the No Duck Zone podcast. And I said, with an actual duck, I'm not like the screen's going to be an actual duck. I haven't came up with it yet, but we're coming up with some ideas. But I said, I'm going to do that. Oh, excuse me.
Are you good, brother?
1 second, brother. Give me 1 second.
Oh, no worries.
Yes. Yeah, I came up with the idea, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna run with it. And it actually turned out to be a great idea.
I love it. I love it. So, who are some of the fighters? Because I've been seeing some of the stuff that you guys have been putting out. So, who are some of the top names that you guys have been saying that have been ducking other fighters? Let's get into it.
Oh man, you gonna do me like that today, huh, Tim?
Hey, I'm only saying what you've been putting out. It's been good stuff.
I'm gonna be honest with you, and I love this guy. I love this guy to death. He's very talented, but I have to go with Terence Bud Crawford. I have to go with him. Earl Spence made you a deal. You didn't want to take that deal. Sean Porter wanted to fight you. Oh, he's my friend. Keith Thurman wanted to fight you. Bomac said he ain't got a belt, so the fight don't make sense. So I'm like, wait a minute, what are we doing here? Just fight the guy. You got to fight somebody. And it's just like, listen, we're not going to do this in the new year. This is a no duck zone. We got to stop this. You know what I mean? If the fight makes sense, hey, just go ahead and do it. I mean, it may not make sense to you, but as far as the fans, go ahead and do it. Why not?
Yo, so I got a question. So for this no duck zone, is the way, and I have respect for Terence Crawford too, but is the way it's gonna happen is when you talk about Terence Crawford, is there gonna be a duck on his face and then a quack sound, or like how? I think you got like what's gonna happen? I'm curious on what's gonna happen.
Hey, you know what? I didn't even think of that.
I mean, no duck zone, somebody ducking, you get quack quack.
There's gonna be a segment in the part of the group where the fans get to choose if it's a duck or if it's a no duck, because everything is, let's be clear, everything is not a duck just because we think it's a duck.
Okay, educators.
So basically, if you could break down a good reason why this fight might not happen, then we really can't call it a duck if the reason makes sense. You understand what I'm saying? It's got to make sense.
Wow, you know what? I like that. So that kind of leads to my next question, which is, when does ducking make sense? Like, would you say that Floyd was a good example of ducking? Was Canelo a good example of ducking? Like, what is a good example of ducking? Is ducking always bad or good?
They tried to label Floyd as a ducker. I felt like if he's a ducker, then what is people like Canelo and Crawford? What are they then? Because I believe he fought in my opinion, Mayweather fought just about everybody.
He did.
When they said he didn't want to fight Pacquiao, he made that fight happen. Even though they said he waited 5 years later for it, it didn't matter.
Yes.
The fight happened.
That's what I'm saying. So I feel like what the contractors are saying, what the people who are contrary to Floyd Mayweather, they're trying to blow smoke. What they're trying to say is that Floyd Mayweather waited until these fighters got old so that he could beat them. But the fact of the matter is that some of these same fighters that he fought, they were the same age he was. So it's like you're saying this and that, but the fact of the matter is Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather were almost the same age. Sugar Shane was probably a few years older, okay, but still at the Oscar De La Hoya. But at the end of the day, I just feel like for me, it's disrespectful for one, and I actually think sometimes it's actually good to duck, depending on the finances. Maybe you want to make some more money out of it.
I agree. That's why I said part of my segment is going to be where we're going to ask the fans. Instead of me just coming out saying, hey, it's a duck, I want to ask people in the group, do you consider this a duck or a no duck? Because if I sat here and just put a duck on everything, then you know what? My whole no duck zone is just a hating podcast.
Ooh.
Podcast, because you're just picking people. You're just picking at them, and you can't just pick at people. It's got to make sense. You understand? It's like when you go get a 9-to-5 job.
Mm-hmm.
If you got one job that pays $15 and the other one pays $22, which one you rolling with? It's got to make sense.
The 22.
It's got to make sense.
It's got to make sense.
But if I duck that 22-hour job for a 15-hour job and I take that, then it's something about that 22-hour that I don't want. It's something about it where I'm like, culture. It's like, I got to do all this for $22.
I'll pass. Now I feel you on Terence Crawford, but I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like, I feel like neither fighters have really called each other out. I do know back in April, Terence Crawford did say, "Pull up your panties, sign the contract." He did say that in April. He did. He said, "Pull up your panties and sign the contract." You know what I mean? It's kind of vulgar, but at the end of the day, he said it. My thing with Errol Spence is like, it's gonna be 60-40 or 70-30. That's disrespectful to Terence Crawford's legacy. I understand that Errol Spence, he's one of the top dogs in boxing. I understand that he beat some of the best boxers. But we're talking about Terence Crawford, 36-0. I mean, straight killer in the ring. And you're saying, well, I'm only taking this fight if it's 60-40 or 70-30 to a fighter like Terence Crawford? That's disrespectful. It needs to be more of a 50-50 type fight. If it's not, it doesn't make sense to me.
I remember when I think it was the Manny Pacquiao fight, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot what fight it was when they ran into each. Hello?
I'm here.
Hold on. For some reason, it just went off. Just give me a second. I don't know what. I didn't touch something on my phone, so I didn't know what happened. Just give me 1 second, brother.
No worries.
I don't know what just happened and why it did that. I think I got to jump back in. Okay, here we go.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I think it was a fight where they ran into each other and, they were taunting each other and they were going back and forth. I don't know if you've seen that. They were going back and forth.
Okay.
And the way I looked at it like this, I might be wrong. It looked like, Terence, you were the one doing the chasing him. You chased him. Earl said, I'm the boogeyman of the division. You said, how you going to be the boogeyman of the division and you haven't faced me? So I say all that to say, whatever the man is offering you, if you want to prove that you're the boogeyman of the division and you're the top dog, what he's offering you, take it. It's up to you. It's up to you if there's a rematch clause after that. But if a man, you've been chasing this man. You've been chasing him. Earl wasn't out looking for you. You were showing up at his, did you just see the fight that Earl had against Danny Garcia?
Yes.
Okay, you showed up at the event. To say what? You didn't even bother to try to get in the ring. You didn't try to talk. There's people.
He should have done that. But that's not Terence. That's not Terence style, man. He's not a Keith Thurman. He's not these guys. He's not. You know what I mean? He's not going to go out there and now. I think he needs to do that from a marketing standpoint, from a business standpoint. He needs to do that. But that's just not Terence Crawford's style. His style is, hey, look, I'll let my fist do the talking. But the fact of the matter is for me personally, I get what you're saying, but as a boxer, it's just the pride thing. The fact that he's 36-0, so it's the pride thing, and also it's like, yo, man, like I've been killing this game for years. You just can't come at me with no 70-30. Now, I think what they could be doing, and get this, what do you think of this? I actually think what they're doing is they're actually going to push for either 2021 or 2022, get all the hype going around, and then they're going to get even more money that way. That's what I think.
Well, you know what? I tell you what. I'm going to tell you something I was just thinking about as you was just talking. I think for it to happen, Bud has to get away from Bob Arum.
Yeah.
He's got to get away. He's got to get away because right now, Bob Arum is making it clear that I don't want to have nothing to do with you.
That's a fact.
You remember the last time we had a conversation last time I was up here about that. And it seemed like since the last time we've talked, the conversation with them has got worse. It became a circus to a point Bob Arum is not even entertaining anything that Crawford does. And it won't be long before it'd be hard for Crawford to sign with anybody because I think Bob is going to try to blackball him.
Interesting.
I think he's going to try to do it. You got to remember, Bob's been around all these years. He haven't been around all these years for nothing. Before any of us was born, he had been doing this.
I really hope he's going to do that.
You know, I hope he doesn't. But you know what? I have a feeling. But if for the fight to happen, he has to wait till October to get out of his contract. Remember, I told you last time, I'm not going to wait till no October. I'm not doing that.
You wouldn't do it. So you're telling me that October 2021, Terence Bud Crawford, Errol Spence, MGM, the lights, the camera, the action, you're not going to watch it?
I'm going to watch it. My thing is, I have a promoter who has nothing, he wants nothing to do with me. That's hard, man.
Yeah.
That's hard. It's like you trying to make moves and somebody got their foot on your neck. They got their foot on your neck telling you, hey, guess what, boy? You can't go nowhere. You got to stay here. I don't like you. I don't want to do nothing for you. But guess what? You're mine until October. No, I would take every little piece of change I got. I'll crack the piggy bank. And I'll say that's it. Now,
do a Floyd, basically.
Yeah. And that's why I respect Floyd. I tell people you don't have to like Floyd, but you got to respect him as a businessman. Smart. He's a very smart businessman and still making smart moves. So you have to do that because it's not no secret that people have been running from Bob for years. A lot of fighters have left Bob.
Yeah.
A lot of
De La Hoya is one of them.
Listen, they've been running from Bob for years. So Terence has to open up his eyes and see what's going on. This is a pattern.
Yeah.
And when you have a boss that tells you, I'm wasting my time with you, I'm losing money, that's all you got to tell me.
I feel you. So I want to transition to another topic because, Canelo Alvarez, he just defeated Cone Smith. Cone Smith, he's 6'3", 168. And a lot of people feel like, well, Canelo, he's just fighting these guys who aren't that good, and he's ducking fighters. Do you believe that Canelo Alvarez is ducking fighters?
In the words of my podcast I got coming out, quack, quack. Yes, to answer your question, yes. But this is why I said that fight that he just had with Smith, that's going to be his last duck. Listen, you got Charlo, you got too many people coming up, man. If you look at the ones from 160 to 168, you got too much talent.
Speaking on, who are some of the top 160, 168 boxers?
I think you got David Benavidez.
Yes.
What's the other kid out of Brooklyn? He's right here from my city. Edgar Belina.
Yes, I like him.
Let's see.
Oh, brother, I think you got something on your face. I'm not sure. Let me see.
Okay.
Cool.
You got the Charlos. Well, I think that's Jamal Charlo, right? He's 168.
Yes.
You got
I'm not sure about Jamel.
Not Jamel. Jamel is still at 154. He's going to 160, and Jamal is going up to 168. Jamel is going to 160. So you understand what I'm saying? Canelo, you could end up fighting either one of the brothers.
Here's my thing, right? And you know, I've seen David Benavidez. He's good. I really like the Charlos brothers too, but just on the resume of Canelo Alvarez, I mean, he's fought the heavy hitters, man. I mean, he's fought Danny Jacobs. I mean, he's fought Miguel Cotto, Triple G. He's fought twice. He's fought Floyd Mayweather. I mean, to me, I just feel like Canelo has the edge. But I understand what you're saying from a ducking standpoint. But we're talking about a guy who's a welterweight that went all the way up to light heavyweight and beat Sergey Kovalev. Now, mind you, I do know that Sergey might not have been the same fighter after Andre Ward, but he was still relevant. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we got to put respect on Canelo's name. And I do think he will fight those guys. I think Canelo actually pulls. I think he's got an edge over almost all those guys.
Well, let's take it back to the Cotto thing, because let's be honest. And there's no disrespect, no throwing, no shade to Cotto. But let's just say by the time he got to Cotto was already like, let's just be real. Cotto was already.
That was a good. But when you saw that fight, that was a good fight.
It was a great fight. It was a great fight, and I felt like if the fight would have been a couple years back, he would have got Canelo. He would have got him. And that's not even throwing no shade, because I am a Canelo fan, but I am at the same time a Cotto fan. But I think years ago he would have got him. He'd have gave him a run for his money.
What are some holes in Canelo's game that you see?
I'm gonna start from the Smith fight. I can't say I saw the same Canelo. His hand movement was cool, but it was something about his legs when I looked at him and I said, he's moving good, but his movement wasn't the same as I'm used to seeing it. I don't know, because I see things different from where other people see. As far as, the hand game is still the same, but it's like his legs, the way he was moving. But at the same time, he was fighting a plate of spaghetti.
He was fighting a punching bag.
Yeah, he was fighting the punching bag. That's basically what Smith was. So my thing is,
no disrespect to Cullen, because I think he's got a really good record. I mean, he's got an okay record.
I felt like he was in it for a paycheck.
No, I feel you. No, I feel you. That's a huge paycheck. But when you look at his resume, he's got a solid resume.
I mean, let's be real. I could have went in there and just let Canelo just whoop me for that. Like, I would have took my wife on a nice honeymoon after that.
I feel you. Matt, you know what's crazy? I was talking to a fighter, and he was talking to me about, he was like, you know what, Tim? If I was a boxer and they were going to pay me $10 million to lose, I would take it. And I was like, wow. So like, when it comes to the fight game, do you feel like that happens?
All the time.
And what should happen to boxers, or even what should happen to boxers when that happens? When it's found out that they took money to lose?
I think there should be some type of punishment for it, because don't get it twisted. It's going on. It's happening. It hasn't just started. It's been going on for some years now. Like, perfect example. And this is the only one I can think of right now. When Crawford and Amir Khan fought, I think I told you this the last time I was on there, when Amir got paid $7 million. And just that, you see how quick he quit? That easy. It was that easy for him to quit because he already knew he couldn't beat Bud. He knew that. He knew that. But it's not even knowing that if you could beat somebody or not. Some people now, or just they don't have that passion for the sport like they used to. Now it's just all about getting that check. I got a family to feed. I got bills to pay. I got cars. I got houses. I got land. I have a more, you know what I'm saying? So I think you should be penalized for it because my thing is this. If you feel like that, you might as well go join a tough man tournament. You might as well go join a tough man tournament because it's wrong because as fans, right?
Yes.
We buy these tickets. We pay for these pay-per-views. We got networks like The Zone talk about paying $25 a month now when it was 20. This is ridiculous. So I think you should be penalized. I think the same, like when you cheat and all this and the PED and all this stuff, it should be the same thing. You should be penalized for it because you're just doing it. You're just taking a check. Like anybody can go on. Like me, if I could afford Mike Tyson instead of Roy, I probably would have went in there and collapsed.
Yeah.
You see the money that they made from that. They made more money together than probably all these other young fighters just in that one.
Right.
Just in that one fight.
Exactly. I agree with that.
It took two guys who are not even full-time boxers to make that kind of money. All the fighters today that's young should be ashamed. They should be ashamed. Because it took two 50-something-year-old men to get in there and do that. To say, if we could do it, what y'all doing?
Well, you know, the thing about boxing, what made boxing great wasn't just the sport of boxing. It was who was in it. Whether it was Muhammad Ali, whether it was Mike Tyson, whether it was what's another name? We got Sugar Ray Leonard. All these Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hagler.
Yes.
Like the list goes on of like great boxers and their personalities. I mean, Sugar Ray Leonard, he not only was a great boxer, but he was charismatic. He was charming. He was an Olympic gold medalist. Like he was killing the game. Everybody loved Sugar Ray Leonard. And I just feel like in today's, but he also loved boxing, I feel like in today's culture, people are so inspired by the money that they're not saying how much they love boxing. You know what I mean? I think that needs to change. They need to change the way that they're promoting themselves. They need to go back to say, hey, look, boxing saved my life. Boxing made me a better person. I love this sport. I feel like that's missing in boxing. Because because they do love the sport. They do love the sport, but they need to promote that instead of just saying, oh, look at how much money I got, or look at all the cars I got, or look at all the women I have. Like, that's cool. I mean, you get that when you're in the spotlight, but that's not the only reason why you were a boxer. Because you could probably make that money. You getting punched in the face for millions. You could probably do something where you're not making millions of dollars getting punched in the face. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Everything you just said is stuff that I like to talk about. It makes all the sense in the world. I'm not going to take a beating for $1 million and just take the beating because I want the check and I want to go home. Because we have to remember, this is a brutal sport, and all it takes is for one punch for you to either be brain damaged or to be dead. And be honest, I don't want to be either one.
Facts.
So like they say, you protect yourself at all times. If you're going to just take the money and say, hey, listen, I'm not even trying to win. And a lot of them do it. I'm not even trying to win, but I got child support issues. They're about to take my house from me. I'm about to lose my cars. You got to understand, all that is cool, but those are material things. Those things are not going to go with you when you leave this earth. None of that comes with you. I care about being here for my family. That's all I care about. You can take the cars, the houses, take the boats, take all that away. I want to be here at the end of the day for my family. We could be in a homeless shelter. That's okay. I'm still here for my family, my kids, my grandchildren. But these fighters are not really so much thinking about that. They'll sit there and say, I have a family to feed, but at the end of the day, It's not really about that. You're worrying about keeping the material things. I want the house that I got with the 8 bedrooms. I want the 5 cars. The problem is everybody needs to stop trying to be Floyd. You can't be Floyd.
No.
You just can't be Floyd.
Floyd's an original. You don't have to be Floyd to be successful in boxing. Okay? You don't have to be successful. You don't have to be successful like Floyd to be successful in boxing. That's all I got.
That's the problem, though, Tim. That is the problem. There's nothing wrong with looking up to Floyd, but you have to realize there's only one Floyd.
That's a fact. An original.
Inside the ring, outside the ring, it's only one Floyd. It's nothing wrong. I think that's where not to get off topic. I think that's what it was Adrian Broner's problem, trying to follow in those same footsteps.
Yeah.
You wanted to be a boxer 1 minute, then you wanted to be a rapper. It's like Floyd, you didn't see Floyd doing all that. No. You wanted to wear the 8 chains, you wanted to pull out 10. Listen, it was okay looking up to somebody. But that doesn't mean you have to go down the same path. That man's path is not your path. You got to do your own thing.
Agreed. Totally agreed. So, I want to continue on the conversation about ducking.
Yes.
Who are some of the biggest duckers in boxing history?
Oh, Tim, you know what? You are not playing fair today. I don't like what you're doing. I can't believe I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to probably shoot myself in the foot after I tell you this. Riddick Bowe versus Lennox Lewis. I never thought the day I would call Bowe a ducker, but I'm going to have to say it. Because I don't know about you, but I was thirsty to see that fight. I was thirsty to see it, and when it didn't happen, it was like I didn't understand then because I was a child.
Right.
I think I was no more than 9 or 10 years old when they were going to fight. But I remember being 9 years old and seeing Riddick Bowe take the belt and just throw it in the trash. I didn't understand it then. If I see a fighter do that today, I'm going to be like, "Oh, you're ducking." I couldn't do it then, but if I see you do that today, you're on my duck list. I don't care who you are.
Well, to be honest with you, when it comes to that, some fighters, they know when they can't beat somebody. Straight up. Like they can look at a fighter. I feel like some fighters, they're like, you know what? He's really good. He's better than me. I ain't trying to fight. And to be honest with you, sometimes that's okay. That's almost like admitting defeat. So if somebody ducks, they say, "Hey, look, Riddick Bowe is a Hall of Fame boxer. He's a great fighter, but Lennox Lewis is better."
Yeah,
that's just a fact. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, it's like Mike Tyson's better than Riddick Bowe. That's okay. It's okay there's always going to be somebody who's either lesser than you or better than you. That's just the facts of life. And I think for Riddick Bowe or for anybody who ducks, I think at the end of the day, they're like, you know what? Right now, he's just better than me.
You got to remember, too, Lennox Lewis beat Riddick Bowe back in the amateur days. So I guess Bowe said, we not, listen, I can't even get over the first loss. And here it is, you guys want me to, and we doing this, now I supposed to fight him as a professional with no headgear? No, we're not doing that again. Nah. But yeah, that was still a duck to me though. Anyway,
I feel you. All respect. You know what? Another fighter, and this is the last point. Both of us, I've interviewed Michael Williams Jr. You've interviewed Michael Williams Jr. and Senior, and they're good. They're great guys. They're great guys, and they want the Devin Haney fight. They want the Devin Haney fight. But, as we all know, Devin Haney, he don't want that fight right now. Matter of fact, he even tried to call out Michael Williams Jr. by, posting his record and who he's fought and everything like that. And it's just like, yo, man, like, my thing with Devin Haney is he needs to fight. Like, who are some of, and I granted he's fought some really good guys, some really good fighters, especially of recent. Okay, when it comes to record wise, he's fought guys with nice records recently. But my thing is that Michael Williams Jr., he's that next guy coming up. Why not fight him? Unless he's like, you know what? He might give me some problems. And I'm too young in the sport. Because think about it, Devin Haney, he's fought, what, 2015, he's fought 5 years professionally. Michael Williams Jr. has been 2. If Michael Williams beats Devin Haney, that's going to take Michael Williams to another level. And where's that leave Devin Haney?
Lord.
So I think that could be a fight. I think Devin Haney, he's going to be like, I think Devin Haney and his team, they're like, okay, it's going to be a fight. Win, lose, let's build up for that fight. Not right now, because we're trying to make money. We're trying to build. And then what's going to happen is we're going to fight them. And I'm going to probably fight them at 28 years old. Michael Williams will probably be about 20, 25, 26. We'll both have our money in the bag. We'll both have our money. We'll both have our prestige. And then we can fight. What is your thoughts on that?
Well, I talked to Michael personally because that's my brother. I love him and Junior. I love him to death, and I love his energy because his energy towards his son. It's like he reminds me of he's the black version of Angel Garcia.
See, I would have thought he was like LeVar Ball, but I don't know.
Listen, Angel Garcia, he goes hard for Danny.
Yes.
He goes hard, and that's Michael Williams. That's Michael Williams Sr. He goes hard. We've had conversations about it, and I remember he told me, he said, listen, see, the fight is not going to happen. Bill doesn't want it. So they're trying to look elsewhere right now. They're just trying to get in where they fit in. Now, my thing is this, and I said this to him, that's what they could be worrying about. If not losing, then like you just said, let's build. And who knows what next year, because mind you, these guys are still young. They still probably got about 10, 15 more years in this game. I'm expecting either sometime next year or the year after.
Yeah.
Nothing happens between next year and the year after, it's not going to happen. Because like I told you, nobody wants to see fighters when they get to their 30s. Something that could have happened. Let's use the example like we were speaking about the Floyd and Pacquiao.
Yes.
We don't want to see that when you guys are in your late 30s and all that. We don't want to see all that because really people will still watch it because of the names, but we don't want that. We want them while you're young and you're fresh because we don't want no excuses 5 years from now.
Yeah, but the crazy thing though is they'll both still be so young.
They will be
in 5 years.
Catch them while they're young and fresh now. They're young and tender now. Let's go. I think it'll happen though. I think it'll happen. And if it doesn't happen, the beautiful thing about Mike Jr., he has so many. I don't want to say he has so many options, but you got Ryan Garcia. You got people out here.
Yes.
It's so many different, and he's Tall. Mike Jr. is tall for his weight class.
Very tall.
Kind of reminds me of Hearns. He's tall.
Yes.
So nobody wants that. You think of the reach. All these other guys are like 5'6", 5'9", 5'10", but here you have this kid who's 6'1", and you're thinking of his reach, and you're like, how do I deal with that?
He's a problem, and he's gonna continue to be a problem for years to come. But you know what? It's weird too because I feel like I'm kind of contradictory at this point. But I do want to say that before the and I understand that the Manny Pacquiao and the Floyd Mayweather fight did not deliver, but in my opinion, that's because of Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao should have been the guy who's the aggressor. He did not come after Floyd. Everyone knows that ever since Floyd Money Mayweather has had brittle hands, even though he still had power, that he was not the same fighter who fought Arturo Gatti. He was not that same guy. That was Pretty Boy Floyd. This was Money Mayweather, who was a totally defensive fighter. He's somebody who would punch, punch, jab, jab, hold you, get off, wait, do a couple defensive moves, and then win the round based on points. Obviously, it was the buildup. The buildup was one, it probably was the biggest buildup in the past, 30 years? Okay,
Yeah.
the hype of this event was so huge. People were calling it the fight of the century. The fight of the century. Before it happened, they were going to call it the fight of the century just because, and to be honest with you, before it happened, I do understand that there were some people who said that the age difference was going to be a problem, but the majority of fight fans, the majority of people were like, you know what? I want to see that fight.
Yeah.
Because both of them, even though they were past their prime, Manny Pacquiao was beating guys in their prime now.
Yeah.
So it's like Floyd Mayweather was still beating guys now. I mean, you know, he retired, of course, 2 years ago, but when that happened, he was still beating guys. And so it's like, at the end of the day, when I look at Michael Williams Jr. and I look at a Devin Haney or even some of these big guys, like maybe the big buildup is what it takes. Maybe they don't need to fight right away. Maybe the buildup, the business, the promotion, fighting other great fighters, maybe that's what could build them in their legacy to finally, when they come together and they fight, it's going to be something so huge, so inspirational. We're going to be talking about it for years to come.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I told Michael Williams, I said, listen, I'm a Devin Haney fan. I like him, but I rock with them. Michael Williams and Jr., I love them. Fact. And I told him I'm going to continue to support y'all.
Same.
I'm on y'all side. Listen, my thing is this, right? I'm going to tell you like Mike Tyson told Tank. You have to help another fighter out. Forget all this, I dislike him, I can't stand him, I don't have no friends in this boxing game. Everybody had somebody in the game to lean on. Ali had to lean on Frazier. No matter how much what you saw in there, in real life, that was his guy. When he was trying to get back in the boxing game, you know, he needed that fight.
Frazier supported him, man.
Frazier supported him. Hey, what you need? You need any money or something? What you need? Yeah. See, on camera, it made it seem like, oh my God, they really can't stand each other.
Right.
They hate each other. But no, you have to have somebody in this game. You have to. All right, Crawford, you say that Sean is your friend. So if he's your friend, well, let's get this money, friend.
That's a fact.
Let's get this money, friend. There's no such thing as I don't want to fight him because he's my friend. Let me tell you something. When Magic Johnson, not to get off the subject.
Yo, you good.
When Magic Johnson and Isaiah played, it was no, I don't want to play Isaiah. That's my friend. They still played each other, finals or no finals. And guess what? We still gonna laugh and joke about it when it's over, champ.
You can't even do that in basketball. If somebody were to even say that in basketball, you would be looked at. They would have laughed at you. Like, what is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you? You too soft. Maybe you need to be a ballerina.
Hey, I ain't say it. I ain't say it.
Hey, look, this is a no duck zone, baby. We ain't
no ducks. No ducks, bro. No ducks. I love that. You're right, man. If y'all friends, if y'all both great fighters, unless y'all are actually blood brothers, okay, blood brothers, I don't think should fight. You know, but I don't know. I don't know if you had two sons and they were fighting and they were both pros, what would you do? I honestly have no idea.
No, don't y'all do it. Don't y'all do it. Don't you do it. Because that could destroy your relationship. You guys are blood brothers. There's a difference between being blood brothers and being like brothers. I can take fighting you and we like brothers, because I don't have to deal with you if we're like brothers. You know, but if we're blood brothers, we're not gonna sell our souls to the devil for money. We're not gonna do that. We're just not gonna do that. But if I'm like your brother, I don't mind beating you for 12 rounds. And if you don't want to be my friend after that, bye, because I got a real brother. So,
hey, that's a fact. You know, that's a fact. Because, you know, Klitschko's mother, the Klitschko twins, well, they weren't twins. They were just brothers. I think one was older, one was younger.
Yeah.
The mother, she was like, do not fight each other.
Yeah.
Period.
She didn't approve of it.
Brothers, they're not going to fight each other.
No.
But I do think there was a couple of people, but you know, the only thing about Crawford is when it comes to friends, this ain't nothing new. Terence Crawford and Timothy Bradley weren't going to fight because Timothy Bradley said, that's my brother. I'm not going to fight him.
I didn't even know they were supposed to fight.
No, I'm saying like Timothy Bradley said he wouldn't fight Terence Crawford.
If he had to fight him.
He said he wouldn't fight him because that's his brother.
He wouldn't fight him because he wouldn't want that smoke. Listen, if you ever notice when they talk, they always try to find some shortcut around what they saying. Stop it. I wouldn't fight him because he's my brother. No, you don't want that smoke. This is the reason why I came up with the no duck zone. For statements just like that.
Yes.
Statements just, come on, listen. If it makes sense.
Make the fight happen.
And the check is right, since this is what y'all depend on, the check. Why not? If we can't be friends after the fight or brothers, then you were never my brother to begin with. You just said it because it sounds good.
Ooh, that's a fact. I love that, man. That's the truth.
Listen, I've had street fights with guys that I was friends with. If we couldn't be friends after, you were never my friend to begin with. If I couldn't come to you and tell you sorry, we shouldn't have did that. Let's not do it again. I don't want to talk to you. You were never my friend to begin with. So then I know what it is with me and you. I never have to worry about you. But if we could come to each other as men and we could shake hands and we could hug and we could joke and do whatever, then all right, then it's okay, because that's what brothers do if we supposed to be brothers. But if you don't want nothing to do with me after the fight, then I know what it was from the beginning. God bless you and enjoy the rest of your life.
Yo, you're teaching. That's an education.
For real. Real, man.
Oh, man, that's crazy. I never thought of it that way. But
that's man. Just think about it, man. If you have homeboys right now that you have an issue with, you get into a fist fight. If you can't forgive me after that, if we can't talk as men, even if it's 3 days later, if we can't talk as men, then I knew what it was from the beginning. You were never my friend. It was something about you. It was something about me that you didn't like, that you wanted to fight me anyway. You just wanted to get it off your chest.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like
that. Anybody who sees this video, if they look at it, they're going to say he's telling the truth. If you can't come to somebody as a man after that and be like, listen, my bad, the fight shouldn't have happened. Right. I love you, you're my brother, and we hug and we go drink, go to the bar, whatever it is. If we can't do that after that, I don't mess with you. No, I don't want to forgive you. You was never my peoples from the beginning, and it's okay.
I like that. I like that mentality. And you're right. I wonder if that's, so then basically those friendships are fragile. And they're fragile probably in boxing too, you know?
I got a name for them. It's called industry friends. That's what I call them. Because these are people that you didn't grow up with, right? Some of these people you didn't grow up with. Some of these fighters do grow up with each other through the amateurs. So some of them they do have personal relationships. But some of these guys have never met in a day of their life. And when they do meet, I only met you at a Hall of Fame or I met you at an event. So all of a sudden, because you got cool and y'all exchange numbers, we friends. If me and you never fought each other and we just met at an event or a Hall of Fame, listen, it won't be long before you start talking trash about me. Eventually, you're going to say something crazy about me, and I might just say something crazy about you. So it's like in the rap game. It's like these rappers that call each other friends. Y'all not friends. Y'all industry friends. That's all y'all are. Because soon as I say something about you that you dislike, you're going to make a diss track about me. steady calling me as a man and saying, hey, what was that
What's
all
going
about?
on about? Yeah.
They're not going to do that. They're going to go straight to the studio and try to end your career before it begins.
Yo, speak on that. That's like 50 Cent and Ja Rule, you know. Like I think 50 Cent, like one time he like bought out a whole I think Ja Rule was supposed to perform, and 50 Cent bought all the seats.
Yeah.
So that nobody could show up. He bought all the seats, so they sold out, nobody was there. You know what I mean?
Said, why? You know what? That situation makes me sick because I'm like, I'm tired of both of them. Y'all too grown. Y'all almost 50 years old doing this. Y'all like 44, 45 still doing this. So, you know what? Even though they're still my two favorite rappers, I don't even entertain it no more because y'all both got kids. Ridiculous. It's like grow up.
It's crazy, man. It is crazy. It is crazy, man. But I'd say my last point on Terence Crawford is, hey, look, you can't fight the Errol Spence fight, right? You gotta fight the Sean Porters. You gotta fight the Keith Thurmans. Like it doesn't make any other. Who else is there to fight if you can't fight the other big names in welterweight?
Let me
You
tell you
gotta
something.
fight.
I want to make a point, and this goes for Errol Spence too. This is not even just a Crawford thing. Y'all spending so much time trying to chase Manny Pacquiao. My thing is this, right? Y'all chasing him for the money.
Good
because
point.
This is my opinion. I don't think neither one of them can beat Pac-Man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's just be real. For 40-something years old, Pac-Man is still an issue. Wow. You might give him a fight, but giving somebody a fight doesn't mean you're going to win. That doesn't mean that. We fight every day as human beings, but that don't mean we gonna win. Sometimes you just can't, you don't have to know how to pick your fights. Y'all not picking Manny because you see something in him. Honestly, that's your biggest payday.
Wow.
Fighting Manny Pacquiao is your biggest. Listen, Floyd is gone. Yes. So next to Floyd, who else can you fight to make a big payday?
Manny Pacquiao.
So I say y'all stop chasing this 40-something-year-old man and y'all fight each other. Y'all all are 30 or 34 years old. Fight each other.
Facts.
I would take Manny and have Manny fight. If Manny wanted to, Manny's at the point in his career where he could leave and say, I don't want to do this no more. So if Manny wanted to fight a regular Joe, I wouldn't even be mad with him because he gave this sport all the years he can give him.
You know the crazy thing about Manny is Manny loves boxing, man. Yeah. Like Manny came from the slums, man. He came from the slums.
Talk about it.
Boxing saved Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao remembers what it was like, life on the street. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have no food. He had none. He had to survive. Okay, and then boxing came, turned his life around, became a huge boxing star. And first off, he didn't come to America until what year? Like 2000 and what, 4 or 5, maybe 2006, maybe? 2003?
2001, 2003, something like that.
Okay, 2003. So it's like he knows the struggle and just the sacrifice of building up and becoming a man. Okay, so for one, Manny, he knows what it's like to be on the slums, but also he's got a people behind him. So he knows that he has to carry himself in a way where he knows that people look at him as a leader. So he's like, look, I got to carry myself a certain way. I have to be a certain way. Manny Pacquiao is different. Manny Pacquiao has chosen to be different. He's from the slums. He loves boxing and he's about the people, man.
He is. He definitely is. It's funny you say that. He did. He came from the slums. And he went through a lot.
Yes.
So when you look at his career, especially where he's from, because it's hard to make it out where he's from. But thank God for Manny Pacquiao because he opened the door for a lot of Philippine people. If you notice now in boxing, there's a lot of Philippines who's starting to make their way in.
It's because of Manny Pacquiao.
And I think it's a beautiful thing. I
100.
love to see it. I love it. I love to see when a fighter could come from a country and no other fighter really comes from that country. And here it is, he comes in and he opens the door for other people to come in. I love to see it, man. God bless Manny on whatever decision that he makes, rather if he continues, but at some point you have to stop.
Yeah, you're right. That's true.
Stop. Because let's just say you get in there with a Bud, you get in there with an Earl. I don't want to see you go out that way. If the fight went the other way, let's just say if it didn't go the way I just said, I don't want to see you going in there taking 100 punches to the head. And you know, I don't want to see that. We don't need
Juan Manuel Marquez, he got dropped, and his wife thought he was dead. Her first reaction was like,
I thought he was. You know what? And it's not even about him so much getting dropped. It was how he got dropped. You know, when he ran into that, like the punch was like, he ran into that, and when I seen him go down, I'm not gonna lie. When I seen the way his hands was positioned, I said, oh my God. Oh my God. I've never seen, because we seen Manny do damage to people. We seen him knock out people.
Yes.
But for him to get knocked out, I thought his career was over after that. I was like, nah, Manny, that's it.
That's it.
That's it. Don't. And this is another reason why you can't fight the same fighter 3-4 times. You can't do it. You can't do
it. They know your style too much. They know your style. Yeah.
You gotta understand. Him and Marquez, they got history. If I fight you, listen, it's hard to fight somebody already a second time. Because after the first time, they might figure you out. So now you fight him a third time. Okay, I got you.
Yep.
And then that fourth time, it's like, oh, well, I thought I had you.
Yeah.
Because you fought me the other 3 times. You thought you could figure me out, but I came with a different type of strategy this fourth fight. Me, if I'm fighting, let me tell you something. You only get 2 shots at me. That's it.
That's a fact.
You don't get no trilogy with me. That's
yeah.
Not gonna do that with me. No.
I feel you. But the fact that Manny Pacquiao was able to come back from that, still win fights, still win championships, that just tells you the love for the sport. And you're right, though. At the end of the day, somebody who loves the sport, you have to be mindful of your family. You have to be mindful of your own health. And I don't know, like if you're a part of his camp or part of a fighter who you know his time is up, but he loves the sport too much, what do you tell him?
It's hard to tell somebody to walk away from something they've been doing all their life. If it's positive, it's kind of hard to tell them to walk away. If it's negative, then I'm in your ear like, listen, bro, I don't think you can do that. But see, sometimes even that positive, there's some negative in it. Because if I know if something is good, but then after a while it's harming you, you got to walk away. Perfect example, Manny Pacquiao, when he got into his accident, you know, when he had the screws and all that on him. If you ever looked at the movie, it's on Netflix. Bleed This. I believe that's what it's called.
Yes, Bleed for This.
Bleed for This, right? Okay. You remember the part where he's sitting down, I think he was at a party, I don't know if it was his birthday, and his coach was telling him when he was talking about he wanted to fight, and he told him, he said, man, don't do it. It's over for you. Wow. You need to start looking into other things to do. I kind of agree with him because I was like, really, you're not coming back from this. Are you crazy? It's over for you. But what did Vinny do? He built himself back up and came back from that accident and actually got the belt back. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But when you get to a certain age, though, you have to learn when to just say, this is it. But like you said, Manny's been doing it
his whole life.
Manny's one of these type of guys, if he can do it until he's 50, he'll do it. But nobody wants to see that. Because what they're going to do is they're going to put you in there with some young lion. Boxing set you up. As much as I love this sport will set you up for the kill.
Yeah.
You remember when Bernard Hopkins fought Joe Smith?
Okay, yeah.
When he got knocked out the ring, I said, Bernard, come on. Bernard, come on now. Really, Bernard? All that could have been avoided. You have to know when to say this is it.
Yeah.
There's more than one way to being involved in the sport. You don't always have to fight. You could train, open up your own gym. You could be a judge. Hell, be a referee if you want.
Yeah. I mean, the legends are legends with Mike Tyson.
Exactly. It can't always be contact because at some point, if I'm 50 years old, I should already have something else that I'm doing. I'm not going to be 50. You're not going to throw me in there with a 25-year-old. That's what you're not going to do. You're not going to do that to me. You're not going to embarrass me that way. Mm-hmm. If I'm going to go out, I'm going to decide how I'm going to go out. Facts. That's not the way to go out.
Spot on.
I'm not going to do that. So, I hope at some point, whatever Manny's next fight is, that's it. We can have a retirement party.
Yes, absolutely. I completely agree with you about the time. Manny Pacquiao, he's done so much for the sport. It's time to pack the bags and leave because it's the time. And we all respect and have love for Manny Pacquiao because of what he's brought. You know what I mean? So, yes, sir. But hey, Clarence, I really appreciate your time. This was fun, man. This was fun.
Thank you. I'm definitely looking forward to doing it again. Definitely, brother. Whenever you need me, man, hey, just reach out to me. I'm a phone call away.
Absolutely, brother. Peace, man.
Peace, baby.